Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus, and I'm back again to drop a nugget on you. What is a hypocrite? And no, I'm not talking about a little hippo, a little cricket that walks around on the ground, but a hypocrite. I think most people know what a hypocrite is, even a kid. They might say a hypocrite is somebody that's phony, somebody that's not real, authentic, but wants you to think that they are, because they keep passing themselves off as this or that, but they aren't really that at all. And that's what I think about the people of the world. I understand why. The big mystery is, why does it take so long for the people of the world to wake up? Well, that's a big question, and it covers a big area. But I should boil that down a little bit. Let's say Americans. Why are Americans hypocrites? Well, we know that they are. Americans are shown up hypocrites. But maybe I should boil that down and say, why are black people hypocrites? Well, and we know black people are hypocrites. Why are white people hypocrites? And we know that white people are hypocrites. And we might ask, why are Christians hypocrites? And we know that Christians are hypocrites. Now, the reason that I thought about that hypocrisy thing and wanted to bring it to you as a nugget, because somewhere in a good book I heard or read that it is said that as often as you do it unto the least of these, you have done it also unto me. Now that supposedly come out of the good book, suggested to the American public that that is a statement from God, maybe through Jesus, but it is an indication that people are fake, phony. And so when I think about hypocrisy, and I think about the political process, and I think about Americans, I think about white people and black people, men and women, and I can only see hypocrisy. I don't care how big the churches are filled. I don't care how mega they are, mega churches. I still see hypocrisy. I see people who have said that they understand life, that they are good, kind, wonderful people. And you can believe it or not, hypocrites think they're wonderful people. The 1% think they're wonderful people. In fact, many of them think they're God. So what are we talking about, this hypocrisy? Well, I can't help but think that an earth that was made by a power that I cannot see had nothing to do with me, as far as a hand in the making, or any of you. And the resources in it to serve all of the various purposes that it does, that's outside of we as human beings. But what is it for? What can it be used for? What is it used for? Well, it's used for all kinds of things, but most commonly amongst us, as we can see it, outside of the infrastructure that we use, it's there for food and clothing and shelter. Not only that, it's there for education and health care. Now, who used that? Human beings use food, clothing, education, health care, and housing. Human beings. Every last one of them required. And here's a power that has made it necessary, made it possible for all of that stuff to be met. And not only that, for everybody that benefits from it, he gave them something that they can do to engage themselves in the process of creating that stuff, which makes them co-owners of all the stuff that exists. In other words, there's another God walking around here trying to pretend to be God. It's democracy. It's not God. It's just a tool of Satan I don't care how much you say majority rule. What gives the majority to be a slave master over a minority? The same thing that gives the devil the authority to be over people. The same thing that gives dictatorships, authoritarianism. It's the same thing. If democracy chokes anybody, it's no different than Satan. If socialism chokes anybody, it's no better than Satan. If white people choke anybody, it's no different than Satan. If black people choke anybody, it's no different than Satan. If men and women choke anybody, it's no different than Satan. So if you're doing the same thing Satan is doing, then the expression says, as often as you've done it unto the least of these, you do it unto me. You're doing it unto God. And so when I look at a Democratic platform that says we're going to move to the center, not so far to the left, because to the left means that there's some people over there we got to give some health care, some education, some food, some clothing, and we can't go there. Doesn't that sound like Lucifer? I don't care if it is America. I don't care if it is democracy. It's the devil's voice speaking in America, speaking through democracy, speaking through Trump, speaking through Biden, and speaking through anybody else that talks about a platform addressing America that caused pain and suffering on another. So it doesn't matter to me whether this campaign comes up with Donald Trump and any Democrat. If it does not say for all, with a plan for all, then it's from hell. It's from Satan. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're from God, you know that God has a plan. God's plan put me, see my job right now, I've been working for 40 years, 36 years without any money. My job is to tell you the difference between God's plan and America's plan. And I mean, I've been out here, you've been accepting America's plan every day. You don't even want to say nothing about God's plan. No. And even in the church, they don't want to say nothing about God's plan. They just want to talk about the Bible and whoever plan that is. King James plan, or New King James Version, or whoever. And none of them addresses the homeless. None of them address those who are hungry, those who don't have education. None of them address those who need health care. But it says, as often as you've done it to these, you've done it unto me. And so you, my friends, America, in your efforts to beat Trump, in your efforts to keep your standard going, regardless of those people over to the left. I mean, over to the right, they're as far as they can get. They get ready to fall over in hell. And you over there talking about, we don't want to go to the left because that might take some out of our pocket. You hypocrite. I ain't mad with you because I just know you don't know any better. The thing that gets me upset is that you don't know any better. And you want to get upset when somebody tell you better because you're not going to believe it. You think that you are better until that shoe is on your foot. Until your kids, as much as you love them, can't get education. Until you can't repair your house and it's falling in on you, laying over to the side about to drop down. Until you can't drive your car. Do you know that God has said by virtue of God has said by virtue of the power of God, what is the number one car in America? Is it a Ford? Well, what is the car that everybody likes but costs so much money they can't afford it? It's a Lamborghini? Well, it's probably not, but let's just say a Lamborghini. It's pretty expensive out here. If everybody in the United States of America wanted a Lamborghini, God says, I have prepared it so that you can have one. But America say, heck no. Only certain people can have a Lamborghini. You need a Ford. You need a runaround, a runabout. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Human beings have come through some rough times. And we're still living in rough times. And according to the reflection of today, we got a lot of rough times to go through still. Well, it looks like we won't have this problem resolved before I die. And I'm sure a lot of you will die as well before this thing gets fixed. But I tell you one thing, it will get fixed one day, and everybody at that moment in time will look back and see and say, why didn't they fix it yesterday? And if you're somewhere looking, you'll ask yourself that too. Why didn't we do it then? But you know what? I'm going to be somewhere saying, I gave it all I got. And if it didn't happen, it's not on me. I'm sorry, but it's not on me. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.